Many thanks for staying with us. I am Justin Akadonye. Now, the federal government has approved the substitution of Lufthansa Group as one of the Transition Advisory Consortium that will provide advisory services for the establishment of a national carrier in the country. The approval was part of decisions taken at Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Minister of State for Aviation Hadi Sirika, who addressed journalists after the meeting, said the Lufthansa Group was substituted due to its involvement in airline services, which may lead to a conflict of interest in the procurement processes for the planned national carrier. Hadi Sirika also announced AMG Airline Management Group as replacement to Lufthansa.
To advise us on establishment of national carrier. Fundamentally, there are two reasons. One, that particular member of the consortium is Mrs. Lufthansa Consulting. In the wisdom of the council, we thought that Lufthansa Consulting is an appendage of Lufthansa Airline Group, and that may bring conflict of interest because Lufthansa themselves may want to join or partner or help in the process during the procurement phase of this transaction.
Council also approved over 400 million naira for the purchase of further 5 operational vehicles for the Nigerian Immigration Service. Minister of Interior Abdul Rahman Dambazo told reporters that the vehicles which will be purchased locally are meant to beef up security at the nation's borders.
1,347,500, 14 of them. The total amount, that is including painting in immigration colors, that is 4,095,000, totaling 483,210,000 naira.
Thank you very much. I'm not aware that the EFCC is investigating.
Another issue that came up at the meeting was the Council's endorsement of a memo from the Ministry of Finance to reappoint transaction parties to supervise Nigeria's $2.5 billion Eurobond. Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun said the proposed amount, which is not a new borrowing but a Nigerian Treasury bill that will mature and will be refinanced in dollars.
For us on our Eurobond, and those parties are Citigroup, Standard Chartered, Stanbic IBTC, White & Case, Banwo Ighodalo, and the Africa Practice. And this is for our Eurobond issuance, 2.5 billion for refinancing. So this is not new borrowing. This is Nigerian government treasury bills that will mature, that we will then refinance into dollars.
Minister of Communication Adebayo Shitu also made presentation on the scorecard of his ministry between May 2015 and February 2018. Moving on now to Senate matters. Now, the Senate has joined in the growing voices seeking a better approach by the EFCC in its investigation of corruption cases. This is as its Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes begins an inquest into the arrest of the chairman of Innocent Motors, Innocent Chukwuma. The committee, chaired by Senator Chukwuka Utazi, is investigating the abuse of power by the anti-graft agency as it relates to its involvement in a purely commercial transaction involving Innocent Bus and GT Bank. At the Senate investigative hearing Wednesday, the lawyer of Innocent Group of Motors, Professor McCarthy Mbadinga, recounted the actions of the operatives of the EFCC at the point of arrest of his principal.
These female operatives that came to arrest me slapped my wife because she asked them of their warrant of arrest. They also picked up one Chidozie who is living with me to stupor, while using tear gas on him for failing to tell them where I was, and he almost passed out. PSCC operatives maltreated me as well, used tear gas on me, flew me to Lagos in pair of shorts and a t-shirt, snapped me with camera and sent the pictures to GT Bank and this principal staff.
And the account of the legal representative of the car manufacturing company was then followed by Senator Dino Melai's inquiry on whether personnel of the anti-graft agency had a warrant authorizing the said arrest.
Okay? If you're not competent to represent the EFCC, we'll ask you to go. You are here because you are competent to represent the EFCC. Okay? So my question is very, very simple. Objective question. Did you have a warrant of arrest when you went to Enugu to arrest him?
As I said.
You will have to answer this question or I'll take the leave of my colleagues to work you out. This is the Senate. This is not a jam question.
Yes, sir. I will, if you permit me, I will ask for permission to verify that. I cannot categorically say because it's arising from this, which I didn't anticipate.
Okay.
I will just.
Don't worry. That's.
The Senate committee says the action of the EFCC is a bad example of law enforcement, noting the negative ripple effect it may also have on investments.
Investments we are canvassing. People will look at how you handle it, even the one that is inside of you here, inside Nigeria here. How do you handle such businessman or a business entity? And you want a foreigner to come down here. It will be a very, very difficult thing. So it is all this issue that the National Assembly came all out and said they have to protect the integrity of businessmen in this country. Protect, ensure that we don't give wrong signal.
And now to violate his right. You know, someone went in his house. That was what we heard in the Senate. And that's how this matter came to the Senate. And of course, we are looking at it from that point. That was what my colleague said. This is human rights aspect of it, is what we want to say. And that is what we find missing in your own act.
The committee subsequently urged the EFCC, GT Bank, and Innocent Motors to present other vital documents that will aid its investigation.
Many of you entered here with us, submitting the documents we wanted from them. We want all the relevant documents that will help us in the resolution of this matter that the committee, the Senate wants us to handle, to receive all of them. You have to get to our secretariat and make sure that within 1 week, all the documents, all the things that are needed here are submitted.
In the meantime, the Senate has accused the Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris of bias in his report submitted to its Joint Committee on Police Affairs and National Intelligence by neglecting comment from the Governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. The position of the lawmakers in the upper chamber followed the report of the Senator Abu Ibrahim-led Joint Committee on the sidelines of the IGP's visit to Benue State on the mandate by the Senate for the police force to effect the arrest of the perpetrators of the Benue killings.
Claims by Benue State Governor at the stakeholders meeting alleging that there exists armed militia camped in Tunga in our local government of Nasarawa State awaiting to unleash mayhem of Benue people. He further visited Nasarawa State for fact-finding and engaging with the stakeholders, where he found those claims were untrue.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and Senator George Akume of Benue State picked holes in the report, particularly as it concerns the poor mention of the Benue State Governor on the Benue killings.
Statement made by the IG, he copiously mentioned the governor of Benue, in most of the paragraphs, but I didn't see where the committee made an effort to speak with the governor. Unless I didn't see that. But because if, in the circumstance, they did not interview the governor, and his name had been mentioned in respect of certain statements and actions, it's only fair to him, and then natural justice requires too that he should be invited by the committee and hear his own side of the story, so that we have a balanced view of what transpired.
The IG, he went to Benue State, he was there for 1 day, he spent 2 days in Nasarawa, and he left. His comments have always been very jaundiced. They are not based on professional soundness, and they do not show any detachment
In his ruling, the Senate President Bukola Saraki directed the committee to go back and do a thorough job.
The areas of the observation there about the comments of the governor of the Benue was not given an opportunity to comment. The only reason why I allowed Senator Akume to speak was I think that is the closest we could hear of the views of the governor of Benue, but even his own explanation does not explain that. I'll have allowed contribution from Senator Wakil, Senator Manager, Senator, all others I want to speak. But I think why don't we keep our comments. Let Senator Abu Ibrahim go back and complete his exercise and present a complete report. And at that time, I'll accept contributions for everybody. And I think that's the way forward. Thank you.
And away from Senate matters now. The governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has described the massive killings by herdsmen militia in Benue State as unjustifiable, saying all hands must be on deck to find a lasting solution to the killings. Governor Wike was accompanied by elders and leaders from Rivers State to identify and commiserate with the government and people of Benue State, stating that Christians cherish life and no matter the loss. He therefore called on the governor to come home with the people in these trying times, as many have been turned into widows, orphans, with more people now in IDP camps.
Also for us, we have say that no problem that affects a state will affect the entire country. And we must come together to see how we can put our heads together to fight such a crime. There's no way anybody can justify the necessary loss of one life, not to talk about so many lives.
The Rivers State Governor, while lamenting the number of deaths in Benue and other parts of the Federation, expressed regret that almost everything in this country has been politicized, even in deaths, adding the time has come to rise above party affiliations and think of one Nigeria. Governor Samuel Otom thanked the Rivers State Governor and his delegate for the visit and expressed his appreciation.
We did not hesitate as a government to invite him to resign his position as IG and then take over his full leadership of being the mouthpiece of the entire. And appoint another person who have the capacity to check security and enforce the laws of the land.
Correspondent Gabriel Odia reports that the Rivers State Governor also visited the grave where the 73 victims of herdsmen attack were buried, as well as donated the sum of 200 million naira to Benue government for the welfare of the IDPs and others. Moving on now, in a related development, Benue people have reacted to the continuous killings of Tiv natives in Nasarawa State following the visit of the President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday to commission some project in the state. Dennis Denen Utsa, a resident in Keana local government of Nasarawa State and a member of the United Farmer Association in the same state, cried out over the unjust killings. He said despite the two killed in his community on Tuesday, over 30 persons have so far been killed from Sunday. And no help is coming as the police could barely help over fear of being attacked.
Idu, Imon, Agon, and Apuru, 4 people were killed there yesterday as the president was in Nasarawa State. And in Kiana local government, in Ayua, Ubu and Ubu, 2 people were killed there yesterday when the president was in Nasarawa State, which means that the people are getting the fuel and the encouragement from the president of the federal government, especially the president, who is the kit and king, to come and kill the Tiv people. I would like to comment further that the Inspector General of Police is attacking the governor of Benue State, especially the PRO.
The social cultural group and some elder statesmen expressed worries over police comment and complicity in the manner security is being handled in the country, and particularly deaths recorded in Nasarawa during the president's visit.
Himself, he said we will not tolerate killing, we are going to investigate. But you found that the people who are actually doing the killing, I say, yes, we are the people who are doing this killing. We are going to kill more people, and nobody has questioned them.
And later in the day, we also got information that in Obi, at Imo, along Away Road, there was a lot of killing and destruction going there. But between Sunday and yesterday, we lost over 37. And as we talk, in Azé, a community in Azé, under Kadanko, we have 6 dead bodies that are lying there on ground.
Very annoying and very unfortunate. Several questions have arisen from that. What did he come to do? Is he coming to perfect plans to annihilate people, Benue people? Should he not have come to Benue State to say, please, please stop, stop crying. Even though damage has been done, I will do something.
Meanwhile, another statesman, Nat Appiah, said that genocidal attack on Nigerian people through perpetuity cannot be sustained and called on every Nigerian to rise to the occasion.
In this country where land is given to anybody in perpetuity, even for me as an indigene, I have a certificate of occupancy on my land, but the tenure is for 99 years. Now, therefore, to suggest that we are going to give Fulani land in perpetuity will not hold water.
Moving on now, at last the Nigerian Army has launched a new operation to counter a series of security threats in some parts of the northwest and north-central state. The state include Benue, Taraba, Kogi, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and Niger. Announcing the commencement of the exercise at the Army headquarters in Abuja Wednesday, Army Chiefs of Training Major General David Ahmadu said the operation known as Exercise Ayem Akpatuma, which means cat race, will help officers actualize the Chief of Army Staff vision to have a professionally responsive Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional role. The new exercise is in line with calls by Nigerians for the military to intervene in the standoff between herdsmen and farmers across the country. Like other exercises, the Army said Exercise Ayem Akpatuma is to handle the upsurge in cases of armed banditry, kidnapping, and cattle rustling in the 6 states.
Guards Brigade and 707 Special Forces Brigade areas of responsibility, covering Benue, Taraba, Kogi, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and Niger States from Thursday, 15th of February to Saturday, 31st March, 2018. You may recall last year, the Nigerian Army conducted several training activities for its personnel in different geopolitical zones of the country, in line with its constitutional role in aid of civil authority. More so, Exercise Ayem Akpatuma has become more expedient due to upsurge in cases of armed banditry, kidnapping, and cattle rustling in Kaduna and Niger states, as well as other sundry crimes in Kogi State and herdsmen and farmers clashes and attacks on innocent members of our communities, particularly in Benue, Taraba, and Nasarawa states.
While calling on unsuspecting citizens of the affected state not to exercise fear while going about their lawful businesses, he said that troops taking part in the exercise would be guided by the professional code of conduct.
This will be placed on raids, coordinated search operations, anti-kidnapping drills, roadblocks, checkpoints, and show of force, as well as humanitarian activities such as medical outreach. It is pertinent to note that Exercise Ayem Akpatuma is set to be another remarkable exercise that will make the nation proud of the Nigerian Army's determination at sustaining its constitutional role of defending the territorial integrity of the nation, as well as its commitment to aid the civil authority to bring about peace and security in troubled areas.